Okay. All right. Sounds like I'm up. Yeah. Okay. I see the capture. All right. Mic buzz. Do you hear mic buzz? Well, whatever. I think it's actually not mic buzz. It's PC audio capture buzz. Anyway, hi. I'm Aperturegrillz. This is Marathon Infinity. This is the third game in the Marathon trilogy. Earlier, before Resident Evil 5, you saw TBCR play the first game in this series. There's a lot in common and there's a lot of differences. So before I get started, I'm just going to explain this category. The first two games are completely linear, which, you know, that you just complete every level in order and then you get to the end of the game. This game is not like that. There's an introduction, and then there's kind of 3 chapters which you can jump between at the end of them. And the plot doesn't make any sense at all. You're jumping between alternate timelines, which end in the destruction of the galaxy and in search of one that's successful. And I'm playing on Total Carnage, which is the hardest difficulty. So much like Halo, we run on the easiest and hardest difficulties. There's 5 in total. And Total Carnage, compared to Kindergarten, there are 4/3 as many enemies. They're all their major variant, so they're all the toughest version. They have like 6 times as much health as Kindergarten. They fire faster. And you take double damage from every source, and you lose oxygen faster. On vacuum levels, not when swimming. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So, like I said, this starts with a prologue, sort of introduction sequence. This level is supposed to be kind of long and meandering, and you swim through some bunch of sewage, but there's a switch in that light panel on the wall, and you just hit it and it opens this door, which leads to the end of the level. So, in that way we can finish the first level in like 30 seconds, if you don't get stuck on these guys. So you see, they all... Okay. That can occasionally happen. He knocks you down. I wonder if I'm actually going to... Yeah, I'm going to die. That... I've never died in that way before. I have died on this level plenty, but usually it's getting stuck in this room. That particular way to fail, I don't think has ever happened. Right, anyway. Like I was saying, I mean, I died at the end of this level, and I'm already back at the end again. If these fighters would just let me through, geez, they're usually not such a pain. But you're going to see, compared to the Kindergarten run of Marathon 1, there's a lot more combat that I have to deal with. Also, your allegiances are constantly switching, so now those fighters, the same enemies that I was just fighting against, are on my side. They're killing this enforcer for me, and those are the enemies on this level. There are hunters on this map as well, and they're also with me. So here, I'm going to fill to 2x and get my first safety save. I have to walk in front of this terminal to activate that switch, and then I try and snipe it with the alien weapon. Here, I kind of wait there at the bottom of the stairs and then run up them, because you can actually get on that lowering platform a little earlier. The way that this game like handles going up stuff, because there's no jumping in Marathon. Okay, just die. Thank you. Oh, he already hit the switch for me. How convenient. So now we're going to activate a secret, or not activate, but stand on a particular spot so that we get risen up and we pick up this assault rifle, which is very useful. So, yeah, I forget what I was saying before. Here we just ride this elevator up, and then the end of the level is right here. I just hope I don't take too much damage. Okay, I took no damage. So this is where this route, all main levels, varies from any percent. Any percent, we would actually leave this level via a secret exit onto a level that they intended you only to play in co-op. So the all main levels category, which I don't think I finished explaining, is sort of the intended route through the game. It's all the single-player levels that exist, even though you can skip some of them. And that includes, if you've ever played this game, you probably remember Acme Station. It's the first of 2 back-to-back vacuum levels. It's very difficult. It has, it's composed entirely of narrow corridors, and it has tons of this cyborg enemy, which on Total Carnage have very high health and are generally really difficult to fight. Plus, you don't have the assault rifle because it doesn't work in vacuum. So you have to make do with the fusion pistol and shotguns. Alright. So this level we do not play in any percent. It's pretty straightforward once you know what the task at hand is. This is an exploration level with only 1 polygon you have to visit. You're supposed to be like going all the way down into this giant underwater room, but actually you just have to go right there next to the that pillar. And now we're done. We just have to make our way to the exit. Which we can speed up a little by using a secret door right here, which takes us past some stuff we would otherwise have to run through. And here I'm grabbing some assault rifle ammo because I'm going to use a lot of it in a little bit. Oh right, I forgot to mention, the one concession Total Carnage gives you that the other difficulties do not, is that you can pick up as much ammo as you want. The other difficulties, you're limited in how much you can carry. So normally you can only carry, I think, 6 rocket packs, including the one in your rocket launcher at a time. Also, I'm picking up that fusion pistol right there at the bottom of the pool. It's very important. But on TC, you can carry as much as you want. So you can have 20, 30 rockets in your arsenal, or like 100 shotgun shells. Here, use the assault rifle to get across this room a little quicker. So this is the first of the hub levels that I was talking about. This is Electric Sheet 1. In any percent, we can actually go off of this level and completely skip about a third of the game. But in this category, we're not doing that. So here we're on Where Are Monsters in Dreams? It's supposed to be a dream level. And when you walk through this corridor, the floor falls out from under you. And you're supposed to have to raise the floor back up by walking on some stuff, but I just jump over it. So, alright, now we're on to a secret level that you do not actually have to play in this category, but I visit it even though it's filled with enemies because it has tons of shotgun shells and 2 shotguns. And I really need those to deal with the vacuum levels coming up. You can also get full 2x health instantly from that can there. So now, sometimes these hunters come in after me and sometimes they do not. In this case they did, so I just have to kill them. I'll use the assault rifle on them because I'm not going to be able to use that on the next level anyway. So then here's all of that ammo and stuff that I was talking about. I want to hopefully not take too much damage from that juggernaut, but this level is fine. As long as I have some 2x, I feel pretty okay. And then pick up a little bit of assault rifle ammo, and leave via this teleporter onto Acme Station. Now, the Rage name for this chapter is very apt. When you're playing this casually, especially on this difficulty, this level will make you rage really hard. And I'm gonna try and play it really quickly, which will make it look not that difficult, but believe me, it is. There's actually the one gun that they introduced for Marathon Infinity over Marathon 2 is the Flechette gun, and you can access it on this level. When you're playing this level in IL setting, where you only start with the pistol, you really want to go pick up the Flechette gun, but I actually skip it because it just basically wastes time and valuable oxygen to go pick up. Speaking of oxygen, I'm going to recharge it here with this can. This level has no oxygen rechargers on it, even though it's a vacuum level, which is really, really obnoxious. It's very unfriendly game design. So here, I figured out that when you're standing on these teleport pads, that's the actual objective of the level, is to destroy those circuit panels in those little rooms you teleport to. When you're standing on the teleport pad, you can actually, like, basically buffer a firing of the shotgun across the teleport, and so you never actually leave the pad, and you're not really in any danger of getting shot. Unfortunately, I can't do that because it's too far away. But that's the whole level. That's it. So now we're on to postnatal trauma, which is another vacuum level. The only nice thing they do is give you another oxygen can at the beginning, so at least you're close to full here. So again, still can't use the assault rifle, so I'm using the shotgun to make my way through these enemies as fast as possible. Shoot this switch that opens a door, which I then need to backtrack to, so that's right over here. Okay. Alright, this is good. There's an enforcer up here, goes down to 2 shotgun blasts. Sometimes it shoots me, sometimes it doesn't. Then up here there are 2 hunters that I can normally tank enough damage to kind of kill it. Ooh, I should be careful here. I may die. Okay, phew! I was really close to being too close to that hunter when it died and taking damage that would have been lethal from its explosion. That's the downside of fighting them with the fusion pistol. It does double damage to them, but when you kill them, they die hard, which is nice when they're standing near their friends, but it's really bad when they're standing near you. So yeah, that was a really close call. All right, there's another here. Just kind of shoot from back here until it's dead. Oh yeah, something else about the vacuum is that, at least on Total Carnage, so I'm basically always running. There's a run key that you hold down, and when you're holding down the run key on Total Carnage, your oxygen drains faster, so whenever I don't need to run, I activate walk instead. Like when I'm waiting for this door. Yeah, and that saves me from ever having to recharge oxygen, which otherwise is pretty tight through its route. Okay, so finally we're back on the surface of the planet. We can breathe, and these are some of my favorite levels, actually, and it's unfortunate that you don't get to play them in the normal route, though I really appreciate not having to play the previous 2 levels. So this is a teleporter that I recently learned about that actually skips the this level. Normally it's a very long loop around, and instead you just take this that goes pretty much straight to the end. It puts you out inside of this little crusher room, which you can shoot the switch to open the door for, and then just is the end of the level, basically. I just have to ride this elevator. Something that they do in 2 pairs of levels in this game is give the illusion that you're actually going through the same space by like copying geometry. So you're going to see that room that I just walked through with the terminal in it again. You can actually see it across the way as the same geometry, so we're eventually going to make our way over there. This level has a huge dam. You can kind of look out the window and see it, and we're going to float up the inside of it to reach a little control and shooting down here to fall faster. So here I'm floating down, and then floating up this this shaft in the middle. Now there's 2 switches at the top of this room that I have to activate and then deactivate. That's one of them. They're also behind little bits of wall. Okay. Alright, so that's done. If you don't deactivate them, then they will re-close again, and they don't hold open the door. It's a kind of confusing little puzzle, but it's this door that I just walked through would be closed. I haven't turned those switches back off. And the actual objective is here, just to smash these 2 panels. And you can see this is the same room again. Isn't that cool? And now that's a timeline that ends in failure, so we're back on electric sheet. This time we take a different exit off of it. Okay, and we're back on the track of levels that we play in the 80% now. Now, whatever you please, this level is supposed to be another dream. And I recently figured out that you can do this rather than doing a very annoying platforming section. And it's both a lot more consistent and saves time, so 2 for the price of 1. Oh wait, that's a different one. What's up, Kevin DDR? Okay, now we're on to Nah Man, he's close. This level is you're fighting with humans again. And this time they have fusion pistols and vacuum suits, so they're a little more intimidating. They can shoot charged fusion pistol shots, which do over half a bar of health at once, so you have to be pretty careful with them. Here, I use the rocket launcher to get over that door as it's opening. Saves a little bit of time, and just kind of, it's both faster and a little safer. Shoot this switch, taking another safety save. This level is actually not really much harder than it is on Kindergarten, other than the fact that you take even more damage, because the vacuum bobs already are very hard to deal with on Kindergarten. So this level can kind of, I think, put people off from running this game on Kindergarten, because it's legitimately really difficult on every difficulty. Here we snipe that switch to open this door. We also got some more AR ammo. Running low at this point. And then here are two sets of hallways that are very difficult to deal with. Boy may actually have dodged a bullet by unintentionally going down that side corridor. It's just a dead end. Anyway, this is the really difficult part to deal with. When that guy doesn't die, because your shotgun spread is off, you can sometimes shoot two charged blasts down the corridor and just, you know, ruin your day. Run, as it were. So now they're on my side, so don't ask. Just don't think too hard about it. This is the same timeline. We didn't switch. It's just like the protagonist is not obeying what people tell him to do in the terminals. It's all very metaphorical and complicated and hard to understand. So basically, don't worry too much about it. What you should worry about is this one here. You have to deal with this hunter who's sometimes just not there inexplicably. Also marathon physics. And then I'm going to use the rocket launcher to get off that bridge, because that bridge is really, really dangerous. If I fall off the bridge, which is easy to do if you get hit, then you land in the plasma, and there's pretty much nothing you can do to avoid dying. The point of this is to go over here and hit that switch. Taking it past that cyborg without killing it, unfortunately. Now we're returning to the center of the level to go across to that room that I was already in. The only reason I visited it before is because if you leave those cyborgs alive and try and do this part fast, then it's a mess. You really don't want to be dealing with that many enemies coming at you from both sides of the room at once, so you're coming here to deal with that first. Which is actually a strat I got from Cody Miller, of all people. Some of you might know that name. He ran this difficulty on any percent on the Mac version, like 12 years ago or something. Oh god. So sometimes you can just kind of run to the end of the level from here, and sometimes it's a huge pain in the ass to get past all these enemies. It really depends what their AI decides to do. I'm not really in danger of dying here, though, because once I get to the end, which is right over here, I get full 2x again. Alright, now this is Hangbrain. We're going to get a lot more assault rifle ammo here, which is nice when we're out. And there's a long hallway here full of hunters and a couple of troopers that we have to clear out with the hunter. Oh wow, that rocket just totally missed everything. Great. Something people who have played Halo might have noticed too is that the code names for some of the weapons are shared between Halo and Marathon. Like the Spanker is the rocket launcher in both games. Okay, I haven't really talked about troopers yet. They're that enemy. that I was just fighting. Troopers have an equivalent to your assault rifle, and they're definitely the hardest enemies to deal with on Total Carnage, because they have, from long range, they fire grenades at you, and when you get close, they use their primary fire, which is essentially hit scan. And, like, when you're not stun locking them or holding them in the air with a weapon somehow, then they can drain your health really, really fast, faster than any other enemy. So, like, this kind of situation is really worrisome, because, like, if any of them hit me into the air with a grenade or something and then I start getting shot more, then, like, or if I have to reload in an opportune time, then I'll take, you know, a ton of damage really fast. So the goal of this level, as you probably already noticed, is to hit all these switches to open... Okay, where are you? To open these panels in this big center donut room to that we want to smash. It harkens back to a level from Marathon 2 that uses very similar geometry and has the same kind of objective. And I'm gonna save once more here, just for safety. Now I'm entering the attic of this level, which you're supposed to run around up the stairs and stuff, but instead you just do that. There's the last panel, and that's the end of the level. Now we're on to Electric Sheep 3, it's the last one. This time we have to hit this switch, which is really obnoxious, because for some reason, a lot of the time it looks like you're hitting the switch and it just doesn't register. So, yeah, and then we get this little platforming puzzle, which I take the beginning of fast and then the end of a little slower, just for safety's sake. And then we're going to spawn under lava in the next level, which, thanks to you, I really appreciate that. If you spawn on this level with too little health, you have to be careful. Then you'll just instantly die in the lava. You can't swim to that 1x can fast enough. So there is actually a 1x can on Electric Sheep 3 as well, but you have to go a little bit out of your way to pick it up. Just another little thing to be aware of. So this is our last dream level. Eat the path. They decided it would be too cruel to just let you die if you fall off this little path into the lava, so they teleport you back up to the top of the level, which we can abuse to just avoid actually walking on the path at all and falling in the lava in the right spot to take the teleporters to advance through to the end. So that's what I have just done, and this elevator here takes me to the end, which is this terminal. Okay, now we're entering the last chapter of the game, Envy. This is a rebellion level, is what it's called in the game, which means that you start with only your fists and only a little bit of health. So we have lost all of our stuff, and we kind of have to start over. So the pace of the level, or the pace of the game, gets a little slower. You know, they reintroduce weaker enemies again, and it's still quite hard because, of course, right now I have no weapons, and I'm never going to have that much ammo before the end of the game. So I do a lot of manipulation, especially like right there. I walked towards the stairs to make them come out, and then walked away from them. And then here, I'm trying to get these fighters out of this hallway, just like that. And here I run in a big loop to, again, try and get a fighter out of a hallway so I can run by it. And then here we're going to get the assault rifle. Hallelujah. Immediately use it to jump across this gap. Ooh, careful there. If you go too far, you can actually get teleported to a place you can't get out of. So that's an unfortunate way to lose your run. You want to avoid that. These two. Yeah, this level is not particularly difficult, but it's quite long, and there are some sticky spots on Total Carnage where it's kind of easy to die if you get unlucky or if you mess up a little. So I like to take that safety save in the middle. You know, it's a slight detour. And here again, we're going to take a slight detour to pick up a pistol because I need to do some really long-range shooting on the next level, or the level after this. And the pistol is helpful for that. And since we spawned with our fists only, we don't even have a pistol. But we do now. So this is the goal of this level, smash those two circuits, and then we're going to go back to the place that we got the assault rifle to end the level. Ah! Okay, so that's why I take the safety save, because sometimes I'm just dumb and do things like that. So. Why are guns and ammo randomly warping in? Well, canonically, the reason why is because you're being supported by a artificial intelligence that is teleporting in equipment for you. Though actually, I can't remember who you're working for in this level. Might be Tycho, might be Durandal, might be Robert Blake. I don't know. This one of the defining aspects of Marathon as a series is having a really in-depth story. I did pick this stuff up. Yeah. Okay, this room can be a little random. Okay, we're good. Oh, apparently not. Come on, guys, get out of there. Alright, good. Thank you. You're working with many different people through the course of this game. It's not just Tycho through the whole thing. Okay, so I'm at low enough health now that I'm going to take some safety health, which is right down here. There's a 2x can that spawns in, and then we're just going to run back up there and use the X. Now the next level is, once again we've switched sides. We're fighting against the bobs and these troopers behind me are on my side. It's a good thing. Sometimes these pistol bobs don't do a lot of damage, and sometimes they do a ton. Just depends like how many hits they really land on you. And sometimes you can get away with running through that with basically no health, and sometimes they take out like a whole bar of shields. Okay, so this is supposed to be a rather long level again, and instead we are going to jump straight to the end by swimming through this sewage canal and jumping off of this pillar right here. Okay, that wasn't ideal, but it worked, so it's fine. Sometimes you can do it with only getting hurt twice by the grenades, and the third one doesn't hit you. It's just really kind of weird nature of fluid physics in this game. Okay, so this is the spot where I wanted pistol for, because I need to kill these bobs. What you are supposed to do on this level is hit a long series of switches that open up parts of a very long path that you walk through the ceiling of the level, and eventually you reach this basement that I'm in now, but instead you just kind of jump across the side of the level from where you start all the way to this back entrance to the basement. And the goal of the level... Ooh, that was close. The goal of the level is to flood this basement with lava and then escape through this elevator, so that's what I did. And then they give you 3x health conveniently, which actually, I don't think I've gotten it before in this run. I think it's all 2x up to this point. Okay, this is a very short level. I just need to successfully... Wow, easier said than done. Snipe that switch through the wall. Can you stop? Just let me teleport out. Alright, there we go. This level, as you note, is very symmetric. The goal of it is to hit these 4 switches in sequence and place an uplink chip that I just picked up in that pool into a spot at the end. And you're supposed to do this stupid jumping puzzle, but you guessed it, you just use grenades. Now we wait for this lift and finish the level. We're almost at the end of this game, by the way. Ooh, do not get stuck with the Yeti. Usually the Yetis don't really bother you on this level for whatever reason, even though they are fighting you. Okay, this is the longest level in the first-person shooter history. Okay, it's over. Okay, and finally, here's the water break. Okay, this level is called You Think You're Big Time, You're Gonna Die Big Time. The idea is that it's this big coliseum with these 4 huge doors, and we're going to encounter super-powered versions of the main classes of 4, starting with fighters, and then troopers, hunters, and something else. And then you also fight a juggernaut. Basically, it's a huge pain, and we don't need to do any of that. We are going to fight the fighters because they drop these uplink chips, and you need an uplink chip in order to skip some stuff on the next level, which is also the last level of the game. So these fighters they're taller than normal. They take tons of damage. So I need to kill them softly, which means I can't kill them with explosives. But because they have so much health, I do use the rocket launcher to soften them before using the SMG. That's the only time I use the SMG in this whole game to actually kill them. Alright, so this is the last level. Time will be when I read the terminal and teleport out. And then you'll see a little ending sequence, which also has the only music in this game. We have noticed that as opposed to Marathon 1, Marathon 2 and Infinity only have ambient sound effects while you're playing. There's no music at all, except on the menu and on the ending screen. And it's the same song in each case. So that's why we brought a uplink chip on. The goal of this level is to place 2 uplink chips, and avoid picking up one by bringing them on in the last level. Quite convenient. So we place one behind the hunter, go up to that area that I was just in to pick up the other one from under the juggernaut, and then that's it. The objective is completed, and I just read this terminal and time. Oh, dang. That was a pretty good time, almost sub 30. So my record is 29:10 in this category. Anyway, enjoy the rockin' tune from Power of 7. Yeah, see, I told you I'd come in underestimate. I should mention, like, I set my estimate when I had only completed this category once, and my time was a lot slower, so it's kind of a softball, but in any case, that was a really smooth run. Quite happy with that. And yeah, now you get to read this really, really too deep for you ending screen. It just scrolls on and on. And yeah, the the like, you know, 90s cyber rock music that is in M2 and Infinity is a little out of place, I agree. So yeah. There's no way I could really explain the plot of this game, especially because a lot of it is relayed very cryptically to the player. Usually it takes a couple playthroughs for people to even begin to understand what's supposed to be going on. Like, the first 2 games are complicated, but at least they're, you know, linear and fairly straightforward. Like, in Infinity, it's not even really laid out that obviously to you that you're traversing these different timelines, so it's really, yeah. I kind of feel like the story they were trying to tell was too ambitious for this medium. You know, basically no more sophisticated than Doom plus text terminals. So anyway, it's a fun game. It's a fun speedrun. Currently, both categories of this game on Total Carnage, I hold the world record for uncontested, except by Cody Miller from 10 years ago. So if anyone wants to run this game, I'll teach you how. It's quite fun. It's free. Yeah. And we're just about coming up on the end of this ending screen. You get the way look ahead teaser. I know who you are. You are Destiny, which, you know, they were going to sit on for like 10 years before starting to make a game called Destiny. Anyway, yeah, you know, Half-Life 3 confirmed and all that. And the music wraps up, and yeah, that's it for me. Thanks very much for watching my run. Good luck to... who is up after me? Kelman playing Vivisector, Beast Within. Cool. Or, sorry, no, it's Risk of Rain.